What if the ultimate source of truth wasn't hidden away in some ancient book or a complicated lecture? What if it was right here, right in front of you? Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful idea from writer Acharya Prashant that the most profound answers we're looking for, they're found by honestly observing the one thing we almost always ignore, our own life. So let's be clear. This isn't about thinking more or analyzing everything to death. It's a call to do something far more direct, to simply observe. To just look at your life exactly as it is, without adding judgment or a story to it, and just see what it has to show you. And this is where the observation really begins, with a feeling that probably sounds pretty familiar. Why is there this constant noise in the back of our minds? This feeling that you should be somewhere else, doing something else. This low-grade restlessness that just creeps in the moment the distractions stop. So what does our reality actually look like day to day? Well, for many of us, it's a life lived in furious haste, a state of being almost completely swallowed up by a million different things all pulling for our attention. I mean, just think about your average day. How much of it is spent in quiet observation versus just reacting, consuming, planning, or scrolling? The thing is, our minds get so full of all this stuff that there's just no space left for any clarity to come through. We're simply too busy to see what's really going on. But when we do manage to step out of that rush, even just for a moment, certain questions naturally start to come up. And these aren't just philosophical games. They're urgent, deeply personal questions. You know the ones. Questions like this start to bubble to the surface. That feeling of confusion about your path, that insecurity that seems to be driving your choices, and that constant, almost nagging hunger for company. Or how about this one? Why does even the idea of solitude feel so unsettling? What are we running from when we immediately reach for our phone the second we're alone? And then we're forced to ask ourselves something really fundamental. Have we ever truly loved? In a way that isn't all tangled up with need or fear or what we can get out of it? And ultimately, it all leads to the biggest question. Do we even begin to grasp what it means to live beyond just surviving and working and consuming? Because unless we face these questions, we're kind of just living on autopilot. Look, these aren't abstract riddles for a philosophy class. They are practical, real-world issues that are bleeding through our daily experience. You see them in your relationships, your work, your anxieties, whether we choose to pay attention to them or not. Okay, so if these are the questions, where do we find the answers? Well, the answer is right in front of us. Our life itself is the mirror. It reflects the truth of our inner world perfectly and without any bias. So when we talk about observing your life, what does that really mean? It means this one singular experience you are having right now, this fleeting, incredibly precious opportunity. It's not an idea or a concept. It's the raw data of your existence, and it is the most important thing you could possibly study. All right, so if our life is the mirror, how do we actually look into it without smudging the reflection with all our stories and biases? The method is to develop what's called naked awareness. And this comparison just lays it out perfectly. On the left, you've got society's lens. That's how we usually see ourselves, right? Through a filter cluttered with other people's values, our endless excuses, and all the personal drama we cook up. But on the right, that's naked awareness. It's just honesty. It's real intelligence, which is just the ability to see things as they are, and direct perception with no filter. So here it is, broken down into a really practical framework. Step 1, just see what you chase. What do you spend your energy running after? Is it approval, money, comfort? Step 2, see what you fear. What are you really afraid of? Loss, being alone, failing? And step 3, notice what you compulsively repeat, the patterns you fall into over and over, even when you know they bring you pain. And this part is absolutely crucial. The goal isn't to justify why you chase what you chase or explain away your fears. It's to just look. To be a scientist of your own life, observing the data directly without making up stories about it. And that takes a kind of radical honesty, doesn't it? So where does all this lead? What actually happens when you start to observe your life with this kind of raw clarity? Well, a really profound shift starts to take place. And this contrast says everything. On the left is what we usually chase. Cheap thrills, constant excitement, and a sense of comfort. But when we observe directly, something totally different starts to arise. Instead of cheap thrills, we find a deep joy of just seeing clearly. Instead of fleeting excitement, a stable, quiet vitality. And instead of chasing comfort, we find real liberation from our own patterns. And this is the ultimate takeaway. This state of clarity, of simply seeing things as they are inside and out, it's not some far-off, impossible spiritual goal. According to Acharya Prashan, it is your highest, most natural potential as a human being. It's already right here, within you. And the crucial point here is that this potential isn't conditional. It doesn't matter what your past looks like, how much you've suffered, or what you happen to believe about the world. Those things might surround you, but that capacity to see clearly, that light at the center, is fundamental to who you are. Nothing can truly take it away. And so, this brings the whole question right back to you. Your life is the mirror. It's reflecting the truth, right now in this moment. The only real choice is whether you're willing to look. So, what will you see?